At the ripe age of 38, I found myself gazing into the mirror, and amidst the wrinkles and the occasional gray hair, there was one glorious thing that filled me with pride. Ah, time, that fickle friend! It has graced me with its gentle touch, as if bestowing a favor upon a humble jester in the court of life. Ah, the trifecta of modern existence. Sweating profusely in the name of fitness, slathering on potions to ward off the ravages of time, and pretending that kale is a suitable substitute for pizza. Truly, the path to enlightenment is paved with dumbbells and moisturizers. Ah, the grand tapestry of life, woven with threads of youth and allure, all conspiring to keep my reflection in the mirror a delightful deception. How utterly charming! Who knew that the secret to eternal youth was merely a series of well-timed decisions and a sprinkle of luck? Truly, I must thank the universe for this whimsical charade. Thomas had a knack for showering me with compliments about my beauty, yet his absence loomed larger than his words, thanks to his relentless job that seemed to have a personal vendetta against our time together. There were moments when his words slipped from my mind like a mischievous ghost, leaving me to wonder if they had ever truly been spoken at all. In the dim light of dawn, Thomas slipped away from the comforts of home, embarking on yet another day of the endless grind that is work. Ah, the joys of adulting! The house was enveloped in a serene silence, a rare gem in the chaos of life, and I relished these tranquil interludes when I could finally turn the spotlight on my own thoughts. Oh, the drama of self-reflection! In a moment of profound clarity, I resolved to step into the cascading waters of my shower, a sanctuary where the mundane meets the existential. Ah, the drama of soap and steam, a stage for my thoughts to frolic and tumble like wayward actors in a comedy of errors. The soothing embrace of warm water, coupled with a dash of self-care, has always been my little slice of heaven, like a cozy blanket for the soul, if you will. Who knew that a simple bath could be the ultimate therapist, ready to listen without judgment while I ponder the great mysteries of life? Ah, the irony of finding enlightenment in a tub. As I entered the sanctuary of the bathroom, I adorned my visage with a mask of rejuvenation, then boldly stepped into the cascading waters of the shower, embracing the absurdity of my own spa-like ritual. As the water enveloped me in its warm embrace, I embarked on a valiant quest to untangle the chaotic thoughts swirling in my mind, as if they were a particularly stubborn knot in a shoelace that simply refused to yield. Emerging from the steamy embrace of the shower, I adorned myself in my daring red lingerie, a bold declaration of confidence and a cheeky nod to the absurdity of life's little rituals. Ah, red! The hue that danced through my heart like a dramatic lead in a tragic play, always stealing the spotlight and leaving the other colors in a state of existential crisis. It was, without a doubt, my favorite and unapologetic declaration of preference in a world full of pastel pretenders. It filled me with an intoxicating sense of power and allure, as if I were the star of my own grand performance, strutting through life with a wink and a smirk, fully aware of the effect I had on the world around me. As I stood there, towel in hand, vigorously drying my hair, I caught a glimpse of my reflection in the bathroom mirror. With a dramatic flourish, I wiped away the mask from my face, revealing the true masterpiece beneath an artist's canvas, if you will, still in progress. As I gazed into the mirror, a whimsical notion danced through my mind. How utterly tragic it was that Thomas would never witness this peculiar version of me, this masterpiece of existential confusion. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, because who wouldn't want to dive into the thrilling chaos of real-life tales that could rival any soap opera? Trust me, you won't want to miss the next episode of this wild ride. Stick around for the grand finale of this video, for what unfolds is nothing short of a riveting tale that will leave you both amused and pondering the absurdities of life. In that fleeting instant, the very notion of Aaron's return slipped from my mind like a wayward thought lost in the chaos of life. Thomas's son had returned, a phoenix rising from the ashes of his struggles, yet here I was, still grappling with the bewildering reality of his presence. It felt like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, awkward and utterly perplexing. In the grand theater of my life, the house often played host to just Thomas and me, A duo so familiar that his presence faded into the wallpaper, a mere ghost in the mundane drama of our existence. How easily one can overlook the very essence of companionship, lost in the monotony of everyday life. The abrupt creak of the door swung wide, yanking me from my reverie like a slapstick comedian pulling the rug out from under a hapless victim. Aaron! Oh, Aaron! I nearly let out a primal roar. Aaron lingered at the door, a master of the art of evasion, meticulously avoiding eye contact as he wrestled with the absurdity of the moment. Ah, Nora, the enigma wrapped in a riddle, draped in the fabric of life's absurdities. Alas, I find myself in the position of uttering those two little words that carry the weight of the world. I'm sorry. The door creaked open as if the universe itself had decided to reveal a grand secret, or perhaps just let in a draft. Who knew what lay beyond that threshold? A world of possibilities, or merely the neighbor's cat? Ah, the suspense was palpable, like waiting for a punchline that never quite lands. Ah, the grand plan to step into the cascading waters of cleanliness, a moment of pure intention poised on the precipice of refreshment. But alas, the universe has a way of turning the mundane into a theatrical performance, doesn't it? One can only wonder what distractions might ensue before the grand unveiling of the shampoo and soap. His voice trembled, a symphony of awkwardness and self-consciousness playing out in the air. Our gazes collided, a moment suspended in the air, as if the universe itself paused to witness the spectacle of our silent exchange. The gravity of that instant draped itself upon my shoulders like a heavy cloak, suffocating yet oddly comforting in its embrace. My hand, like a misguided hero in a tragic play, reached for the towel, but alas, the moment had slipped away, leaving me in a comedic tableau of regret. Aaron's face resembled a ripe tomato, and an inexplicable jolt of energy coursed through my entire being, as if I had just touched a live wire. What a delightful mess we find ourselves in. Aaron, is the concept of knocking completely foreign to you? I declared, attempting to maintain a facade of composure, though my voice betrayed me with its tremors. Oh, absolutely, of course. Apologies escaped his lips like a fleeting shadow, and with a swift motion he sealed the door behind him as if to trap the awkwardness within. Ah, but alas, what has transpired is forever etched in the annals of time, like a bad haircut that refuses to grow out. In those fleeting seconds, my meticulously crafted routine crumbled like a house of cards, leaving chaos in its wake and me standing there bewildered and slightly amused at the absurdity of it all. Surely this must be some cosmic joke, a twist of fate that even the universe finds amusing, right? But really, why was my heart racing like it was auditioning for a role in a suspense thriller? Aaron's gaze upon me ignited an unexpected thrill, a curious blend of embarrassment and exhilaration that danced within my chest like a mischievous sprite. There I stood, a whirlwind of mortification swirling around me, yet beneath that crimson blush, a mischievous spark flickered. Oh, how I secretly reveled in the absurdity of it all! I attempted to gather my scattered thoughts and shut the door behind me, yet my mind was a relentless projector, looping that unforgettable scene of my post-shower self and Aaron's gaze. Oh, that gaze! It was as if he had just witnessed the grand finale of a tragicomedy, and I was the unwitting star of the show. There I was, standing on the precipice of my own emotional cliff, feeling as if the universe had stripped away my armor, leaving me delightfully naked in the face of my own insecurities. How utterly peculiar. A wave of embarrassment washed over me, yet beneath it all, a thrill bubbled up, dancing like a mischievous sprite in the depths of my soul. For a time, I wandered through life blissfully unaware, like a character in a tragicomedy, oblivious to the plot twists unfolding around me. As I approached the mirror, a wave of bewilderment washed over me, leaving me to ponder the absurdity of my own reflection. I gazed at my reflection, the red lingerie hugging my curves like a dramatic plot twist, radiating an almost theatrical glow. Ah, the irony of time! My body, defying the relentless march of years, continues to flaunt a youthful allure that seems almost rebellious. It's as if my skin has taken a stand against the calendar, whispering, Not today age. At the ripe age of 38, one might expect the weight of the world to bear down, but lo and behold, these years have been rather kind, as if they were in on a cosmic joke that only I could appreciate. It wasn't merely my body, nor just my eyes or my hair. It was the entire spectacle of me, a grand performance of self, unfolding in the most absurdly intricate ways. Everything appeared to be bursting with life, as if it had just stepped out of a painting, ready to dazzle the unsuspecting observer. Ah, the glorious triumph of my muscles, sculpted from hours of sweat and determination, while my skin, oh so soft and smooth, could easily be mistaken for the finest silk flawless, of course, because who doesn't love a good illusion? Witnessing that spectacle filled me with an unexpected surge of fortitude, as if the universe conspired to remind me of my own resilience in the face of life's absurdities. Yet, as I gazed into the mirror, a peculiar thought danced in my mind. What was it about that ever-observant glimmer in Aaron's eyes that seemed to scrutinize my very soul? Ah, the eternal question. How did he truly perceive my essence? Was I a mere shadow flitting through his mind, or a vibrant character in his grand narrative? The suspense is almost unbearable, isn't it? One can only hope he didn't mistake me for a background prop in his life's comedy. What on earth was swirling around in that mind of his? To what extent did he scrutinize my very essence? A relentless inner voice wrestled with my mind, pleading for silence. Yet here I am, unable to resist the siren call of these thoughts that refused to be tamed. As I gazed upon my own reflection, a swell of pride bubbled within me, reveling in the delightful quirks of my physical form. Oh, the sheer audacity of my reflection in those crimson undergarments, a sight so captivating it could make even the most stoic of hearts skip a beat. Who knew that beneath the mundane layers of everyday life, a dazzling spectacle awaited? Truly, I was a vision of allure, wrapped in fabric that screamed both confidence and a hint of mischief. In a flash of memory, I recalled that Aaron has this delightful habit of emerging from the shower clad in nothing but a towel, as if he's just stepped off a runway of questionable decisions. In an unexpected twist, my eyes danced with a sudden flicker, as if they were auditioning for a role in a melodrama yet to unfold. Aaron has perpetually graced the world with his striking good looks, as if the universe conspired to sculpt him from the finest marble, leaving mere mortals to wonder if he was a mere reflection of their wildest dreams, or a cosmic joke played by the gods of beauty. In terms of sheer physicality, he was nothing short of a marvel, a veritable titan among mere mortals. Yet, as I began to perceive him through that lens, a whirlwind of other emotions began to swirl within me, each one more dramatic than the last, as if my heart were auditioning for a role in a tragicomedy. To ponder the enigma of him within my own depths, to stir a flicker of emotion for his existence. What had once been a mere flicker of interest in the recesses of my mind was now a full-blown symphony of sensations, playing a tune that my body seemed all too eager to dance to. How delightfully absurd! Who knew that thoughts could have such a physical presence, like an unexpected guest at a party turning the mundane into a spectacle of awkwardness and intrigue? In a moment that felt both fleeting and eternal, I found myself suspended in time, breath held captive as my gaze trailed after him once more. Yet, amidst the chaos of my thoughts, the insistent whisper of guilt emerged, a relentless companion in my introspective journey. Ah, Thomas! A name that echoes through the corridors of time, like a forgotten melody waiting to be rediscovered. What tales do you hold, dear Thomas? What secrets lie beneath the surface of your syllables? A name so simple, yet it carries the weight of 1,000 stories, each one more absurd than the last. One can only wonder what mischief you've been up to, or if you've simply been a silent observer in the grand theater of life. Oh, Thomas, the enigma wrapped in a riddle, draped in the cloak of the mundane. How delightfully perplexing you are! Oh, indeed, he made his grand entrance into my life as well. At the ripe age of 47, I find myself perched atop the mountain of success, a businessman in the grand theater of life, where every deal is a dramatic act and every negotiation a comedic twist of fate. He toiled away like a modern-day Sisyphus, pushing his boulder of work up the hill, only to find that he had no time left for me at the summit. Ah, the irony of ambition. Who knew that chasing dreams could lead to such a lonely existence? There are moments when I find myself pondering the grand enigma that is my marriage to Thomas, as if it were a Shakespearean play filled with twists and turns, and perhaps a touch of absurdity. Were we truly basking in the glow of happiness, or merely playing the part in this grand theatrical production of life? Or perhaps I've simply become quite the connoisseur of solitude. Ah, the bittersweet symphony of familiarity. Just when I thought I had him all figured out, he waltzed into my life like a plot twist in a mediocre rom-com. How delightfully tragic. It appeared that Thomas had decided to cast me aside, like a forgotten sock in the depths of a laundry basket, his enthusiasm for our connection fading into the ether. Recently, after a seemingly endless business trip, it struck me like a bolt of lightning. He might as well have been a ghost drifting through my life without a hint of concern. They attempted to mend it, but alas, the familiar warmth had vanished into the ether, leaving behind a chilling void that even the most skilled hands couldn't restore. Thomas, in his relentless pursuit of productivity, was so ensnared by his work that he seemed to have forgotten the existence of time itself. Perhaps, more tragically, the existence of me. Ah, yet another evening, draped in the mundane cloak of routine, where the clock ticks with a mocking rhythm, and the shadows dance to the tune of predictability. Thomas, weary from the daily grind, stumbled through the door, only to be greeted by the tantalizing aroma of dinner wafting through the air, as if the universe conspired to lift his spirits, if only for a fleeting moment. Ah, the irony! In a world swirling with chaos and change, here we stand, staring into the abyss of sameness. Nothing else was different, and yet, isn't that the most dramatic twist of all? A cosmic joke played on the unsuspecting souls who dare to seek novelty in the mundane. How delightfully absurd! But then he uttered that fateful sentence, the kind that hangs in the air like a poorly timed joke at a funeral. "Ah, the grand soirée awaits us," he declared with a flourish. In that fleeting instant, it was as if the universe conspired to provide me with the perfect diversion from the relentless parade of thoughts that had been marching through my mind for days on end. Ah, yes, a grand soirée awaits, an extraordinary chance to bask in the presence of Thomas, a moment that could very well be the highlight of one's existence. A few weeks ago, when the whispers of the party first tickled my ears, I found myself daydreaming of a solitary evening spent with Thomas, just the two of us against the world, or perhaps just against the awkwardness of social gatherings. Ah, the evening unfolds like a well-worn script, where every glance exchanged is a dramatic pause, and every laugh shared is a punchline waiting to land. Here we are, two characters in a play, navigating the absurdity of our own little world, pondering the mysteries of life while sipping on something that might just be too strong for a Tuesday night. What a delightful farce this is. Capturing his gaze, a feat akin to summoning a rare comet in the night sky. Stirring the pot of monotony, just a dash of thrill to spice things up. And then, like a scene from a poorly scripted play, Aaron made his grand entrance. "Tomorrow evening I shall embark on a flight," he declared, as if announcing a grand adventure rather than a mere trip through the skies. Ah, the grand adventure of visiting a friend! A journey filled with laughter, perhaps a sprinkle of existential dread, and the inevitable realization that social interactions are both a blessing and a curse. What could possibly go wrong? Ah, yes, the two of you, bravely venturing into the wild unknown of the party, like intrepid explorers setting sail for uncharted waters. What could possibly go wrong? By the time you return, it'll have already taken off, soaring through the skies while you're still stuck on the ground, contemplating the mysteries of time and travel. Aaron had a knack for being perpetually himself, a constant in the ever-shifting landscape of life's absurdities. As I pondered the stark contrast of his youthful exuberance and unshackled spirit, it became painfully clear why such audacious antics came so effortlessly to him. Meanwhile, Thomas was utterly consumed by his work, as if the very essence of productivity had cast a spell upon him, leaving no room for the frivolities of life. Ah, the noble pursuit of labor, where one can lose themselves in the abyss of deadlines and spreadsheets, blissfully unaware of the world spinning madly outside their office window. He was utterly indifferent to such trivialities, as if the universe itself had conspired to render him immune to the mundane concerns that plagued lesser mortals. I found myself at the crossroads of social obligation and emotional turmoil, staring into the abyss of Thomas's gaze, which seemed to echo the haunting memories of the past few weeks. Ah, the allure of a party! Yet here I was, caught in the web of introspection, wondering if the dance floor could ever compete with the weight of unspoken words. Yet in the grand theater of my emotions, I found myself yearning to demonstrate my affection, as if love were a dramatic monologue waiting for its cue. Well, I decided to don my finest attire, because why not? A little flair never hurt anyone, right? It's not like I'm preparing for a royal gala, but one can dream, can't they? I slipped into a red, form-fitting dress that clung to me like a second skin, exuding elegance and a hint of drama, as if the fabric itself was whispering secrets of sophistication and allure. I meticulously applied my makeup, crafting a masterpiece on my face, and styled my hair with all the finesse of a seasoned artist, or at least I like to think so. Ah, the lengths we go to for the elusive approval of Thomas, like a moth to a flame, or perhaps more accurately, a jester to a king. How utterly absurd! Ah, but alas, the grand design unraveled like a poorly stitched seam, leaving us to ponder the whims of fate. In the aftermath of the soiree, despite my dazzling appearance that could have turned heads and melted hearts, the elusive night with Thomas remained a mere figment of my imagination, slipping through my fingers like sand at the beach of unfulfilled dreams. Ah, the classic ruse! Off he goes, cloaked in the guise of a business meeting, while I'm left to play the role of the solitary homebody. How delightfully predictable. One can only wonder what riveting discussions about spreadsheets and profit margins await him, while I engage in my own thrilling TTE with the couch and a bowl of popcorn. Once more, I found myself in the company of solitude, a familiar yet unwelcome companion, all by myself, in the grand theater of existence. It seems that a little piece of my soul has shattered, like a fragile vase that was never meant to withstand the chaos of life's clumsy hands. There I was, adrift in a sea of melancholy, grappling with an emotion I couldn't quite name, yet it weighed heavily on my heart like an unwelcome guest at a party. Sadness, it seemed, had decided to crash my life, and I was left wondering why it had chosen me as its host. That fateful night I had envisioned with him evaporated like mist in the morning sun, leaving only the bitter taste of what could have been. Upon my return to the sanctuary of my abode, I found myself inebriated, a state of delightful disarray that only the finest spirits could inspire, all by myself in this vast expanse of solitude. I felt like a shattered vase, pieces scattered across the floor, each fragment a reminder of what once was. And yet, somehow, there's a certain charm in the chaos, isn't there? A beautiful disaster, if you will. As I ascended the stairs, shedding my layers like a snake in mid-molt, I couldn't help but marvel at the absurdity of it all. After all the meticulous planning and daydreaming about an enchanting evening with Thomas, here I stood, reduced to nothing more than a mere whisper of fabric my black lace underwear, the sole witness to my grand expectations. My frustration swelled like a balloon on the verge of bursting, teetering on the edge of a melodramatic explosion. The crimson gown, the artful paint upon my visage. Ah, the grand irony of existence, a symphony of effort played to an audience of none, where every note of ambition fades into the void. Truly a masterpiece of futility. A gaping void echoed within me. A hollow chamber where once there was vibrancy and life, now reduced to a mere whisper of existence. In that fleeting instant, a spark of indignation flared within me, igniting a simmering storm of frustration. Yet here I was, grappling with the shadows of the night, desperately seeking some grand gesture to mend the shattered pieces of my soul. In a moment of profound clarity, I made the fateful choice to venture into the kitchen. perhaps a sip of something strong to drown the absurdity of it all. Perhaps a cigarette, the classic companion for those moments of existential pondering and fleeting joy. In a moment of existential crisis, I found myself desperately seeking the elusive clarity that seemed to mock me from the shadows of my cluttered thoughts. All I craved was a fleeting moment of tranquility, a brief escape from the chaos of existence, to gather the scattered pieces of my existence into a semblance of coherence. With a flourish, I approached the fridge, the cool air whispering secrets of indulgence. I poured a generous measure of alcohol into my glass, a liquid promise of temporary escape. Then, as if in a dramatic ritual, I retrieved a pack of cigarettes, lighting one with a flick of my wrist, embracing the smoky tendrils of rebellion that danced in the air. The smoke wrapped around my throat like a worn-out scarf, leaving me to ponder the absurdity of my own existence. Tonight, it was as if time itself decided to take a dramatic pause, leaving me to confront the absurdity of it all, right here, right now. In that fleeting instant, the universe decided to throw a curveball, leaving us all collectively gasping in disbelief. As a solitary footstep echoed through the silence, my gaze snapped to the kitchen door, as if it were the grand entrance to a theatrical performance about to unfold. Aaron had returned to the sanctuary of his abode, a place where the echoes of his past danced in the shadows and the walls whispered secrets only he could hear. When he reappeared, a specter from the past, I was left utterly flabbergasted, grappling with the bewildering question of his return. What cosmic joke had led him back to this very moment? The absurdity of it all left me momentarily speechless, caught in a whirlwind of confusion and incredulity. There I was, lost in a daydream of a serene evening with Thomas, when suddenly, like a plot twist in a poorly written rom-com, Aaron appeared before me. The effect was nothing short of bewildering, as if the universe had decided to throw in a surprise guest star just when I thought the scene was set for two. Aaron, in a twist of fate that could rival the most absurd of sitcoms, found himself tethered to the whims of his friend's ever-shifting plans, which had once promised a grand departure, but now hung in the air like a poorly timed punchline. Alas, the fates conspired against him, and his flight was unceremoniously canceled, leaving him to ponder the cruel whims of travel plans. Ah, the delightful surprise of realization! Who would have thought that such a notion could slip through the cracks of my mind like a mischievous little sprite? Truly, the universe has a way of throwing curveballs when you least expect them, doesn't it? And now, here we stood, locked in a silent standoff in the kitchen, the air thick with unspoken words and the faint scent of burnt toast lingering like a bad joke that just wouldn't land. Text. There. I stood in the kitchen, a bewildered statue amidst the chaos of culinary dreams gone awry. There he was, Aaron, standing before me in a way that could only be described as a plot twist in a mediocre soap opera, completely unexpected and utterly bewildering. There I was, draped in black lace lingerie, a sight so out of character it could have been the punchline of a cosmic joke. Who knew I'd find myself in such a scandalous predicament? It felt like a scene from a play where the lead actor had forgotten their lines, yet here I stood, embracing the absurdity of it all. And so it was, in the grand tapestry of fate, that he stumbled upon my existence. I inhaled deeply, my gaze stubbornly avoiding his presence as if it were a particularly embarrassing family photo I couldn't bear to look at. Ah, the sweet sting of embarrassment, that delightful sensation that wraps around you like a poorly fitted sweater. It's as if the universe has conspired to spotlight your most awkward moments, leaving you to ponder the cosmic joke that is your existence. Truly, what a grand performance we put on for the audience of life, complete with all the cringe-worthy bloopers. Bravo, dear self, bravo! Forgive me, Aaron, I murmured, my voice quaking ever so slightly. Text. Oh, what a delightful surprise to find you lurking in the shadows. How long have you been playing the role of the silent observer? Text. Oh, the delightful absurdity of fate! Who would have thought our paths would cross in such a peculiar setting? I bowed my head, avoiding the piercing gaze of the world around me, as if it were a game of hide-and-seek where I was decidedly not seeking. It was as if my heart had thrown a wild party, and I was left standing in the middle of the chaos, trying to decipher the confetti of feelings swirling around me. Yet there was Aaron, unfazed and utterly composed, as he nonchalantly closed the distance between us, as if the universe itself had conspired to make this moment utterly mundane. In his eyes, a tempest brewed, a subtle shift that hinted at secrets untold and stories waiting to unravel. He halted, a dramatic flair in his demeanor, and with a hint of theatrical curiosity inquired, "Why, dear Nora, are those tears gracing your cheeks? What has you in such a tizzy, my friend?" His voice had taken on a peculiar timbre, as if it had been plucked from the depths of a melodramatic play, leaving us all to ponder the mysteries of his sudden transformation. This time, it resonated with a certain gravity, as if the very air had thickened with emotion. His eyes pierced through the layers of my being, as if they were on a quest to unearth the very essence of my soul, leaving me both exposed and oddly amused by the audacity of it all. As he edged nearer, a grin crept across his face, as if he held the universe's most amusing secret just behind his lips. Ah, but it was far more than a mere smile gracing his lips. It was a theatrical performance, a mask of joy that hinted at the chaos swirling beneath the surface. Ah, the depths of his gaze, a swirling tempest of unspoken tales and hidden truths, revealing more than mere words ever could. My mind was a tempest, swirling with chaos, for in that fleeting instant it became painfully clear that he was not merely a physical presence. He was an emotional hurricane, wreaking havoc on my very soul. Ah, the delightful chaos of emotions! A veritable cocktail of confusion, shaken, not stirred, leaving me to ponder the absurdity of it all. Yet lurking beneath the surface, there resided an entirely different creature, a tempest of thoughts and feelings, ready to burst forth at any moment. Aaron's gaze was so disarmingly sincere that rather than cowering in the shadow of its impact, I found myself boldly stepping closer, as if drawn by an invisible force of curiosity and absurdity. His words, like a tempest, swirled through my mind, leaving a trail of delightful chaos in their wake. With a deliberate slowness, I raised my gaze, only to be met by the earnestness etched upon his features, a look so genuine it could almost make one believe in the goodness of humanity, if only for a fleeting moment. His gaze was so intense that it felt as if he was not merely invading my personal space, but also rummaging through the very depths of my soul, as if he had a map to my emotions tucked away in his back pocket. In that fleeting instant, the shards of my existence lay bare, a poignant reminder of my own fragility. Ah, the sheer agony of watching my grand vision for the evening crumble like a poorly constructed souffle. How could reality be so cruelly uncooperative? One moment, I was the architect of a perfect night, and the next, I was left with nothing but the bitter taste of disappointment and a side of existential dread. Truly, life has a way of turning our dreams into punchlines, doesn't it? In a sudden cascade, tears began their dramatic descent down my cheeks, as if my emotions had decided to stage a grand performance right there and then. As Aaron approached, he leaned in with a dramatic flair and whispered, "Nora, have you ever paused to consider just how stunning you truly are?" His words were like a double-edged sword, slicing through my tension with a hint of relief, yet leaving me reeling in disbelief, as if I had just stumbled upon the punchline of a cosmic joke I wasn't quite ready to hear. It seems that Thomas, in his relentless pursuit of professional glory, has inadvertently left you in the shadows, a mere spectator in the grand theater of his busy life. He continued, "Ah, but you, my dear, are a rare gem in a sea of ordinary pebbles, radiating beauty that could make even the stars envious. Truly, you are worthy of this night, a night that should be draped in the finest velvet of your dreams." His words wrapped around me like a warm blanket, yet the storm of my emotions raged on, refusing to be tamed. The turmoil within me was so intricate and overwhelming that merely standing in proximity to him seemed to thwart any hope of returning to the mundane normalcy I once knew. Aaron's eyes were like bottomless pits, drawing me in with an irresistible force, as if I were a hapless sailor caught in a storm, destined to navigate the treacherous waters of his gaze forever. In that fleeting instant, time itself appeared to come to a standstill, and with all the grace of a clumsy gazelle, I cautiously advanced another step toward him. Aaron, caught in a moment of sheer disbelief, remained as still as a statue while I boldly advanced toward him. Text. The shift in his gaze was like a plot twist in a poorly written novel, leaving me grappling with a whirlwind of feelings that seemed to have no logical explanation. And just like that, the world flipped on its axis, a whirlwind of chaos and clarity colliding in a single, breathless moment. The tumultuous battle within me clashed with an insatiable urge to press my lips against his, a deliciously chaotic dance of desire and doubt. In that fleeting instant, my heart yearned to bridge the chasm between us, to surrender completely and embrace the chaos of the unknown. And then, in a fit of reckless abandon, I found myself planting a kiss on Aaron's unsuspecting lips. It all unfolded in a flash, leaving me utterly unprepared, as if life had decided to throw a surprise party without sending an invitation. How delightfully rude! With my eyes shut tight, and the moment our lips collided, it felt as though the universe hit the pause button, leaving us suspended in a bubble of sheer absurdity. Text. The warmth enveloped me like a cozy blanket, the rapid thumping of my heart echoing like a drum roll in a suspenseful play, while the tension in his body was palpable, as if we were two actors caught in a scene that could go either way. In a heartbeat, all of these swept me away, leaving my mind a blank canvas, as if the universe had hit the reset button on my thoughts. In that moment, the air thickened with anticipation, as if the universe itself held its breath, waiting for me to lean in and return Aaron's kiss. The tension was almost comical, a silent standoff between desire and hesitation, as if we were two actors caught in a scene that had gone on just a beat too long. The heat on my lips was a dramatic testament to the intensity of his reaction, as if my mouth had suddenly become the stage for a grand performance of emotions. Gradually, as his hand made its way to my waist, the space that once separated us vanished into thin air, like a magician's trick gone awry. In a whirlwind of tangled feelings, I found myself swept away by an overwhelming surge of longing, as if my heart had suddenly decided to throw a wild party without my permission. As I caught the sound of his breath, an irresistible urge compelled me to draw nearer, as if the very air between us held some unspoken secret waiting to be unveiled. In a whirlwind of passion, we dashed from the kitchen to the living room, our lips locked in a fervent embrace, as if the world outside had ceased to exist. With each step, our bodies crashed against the walls, and in that fleeting moment of chaos, we clung to each other as if the world might just unravel around us. As Aaron's hands explored the contours of my body, we crashed into the walls like two misguided ships, careening toward the living room door with all the grace of a clumsy ballet. And there we were, inexplicably perched on the couch in the living room, side by side, gasping for air as if we had just run a marathon through the absurdity of life itself. Aaron, in a moment of sheer brilliance, had abandoned his pants in the kitchen, as if they were merely a forgotten ingredient in a recipe for chaos. There, beside the couch, my black lace underwear sprawled on the floor like a fallen soldier in a battle of domesticity. It struck me just how peculiar that moment truly was. Yet, in the grand theater of my existence, I found myself utterly adrift, a mere shadow of my former self, lost in the labyrinth of my own making. I blinked awake, my gaze locking onto him as I inhaled deeply, as if the very air held the weight of the universe. Aaron, observing the rapid spiral of chaos around us, caught the look of bewilderment etched on my face and offered a wry, almost amused smile. His eyes were a theatrical display, revealing the depths of his emotional turmoil, as if they were the spotlight on a stage, showcasing the drama of his feelings for me. He inhaled deeply, his gaze piercing through the air like a spotlight, and with a tone that could only be described as both serious and slightly bewildered, he asked, "Nora, what on earth happened? What on earth possessed us to embark on this wild adventure?" With a mix of astonishment and a dash of relief, I found myself trailing after his gaze, as if it held the secrets of the universe or at least the punchline to a very long joke. Words danced on the tip of my tongue, a cacophony of thoughts clamoring for attention, yet I found myself paralyzed by the weight of silence. What a delightful predicament! Here I was, a master of the unspoken, thrust into the spotlight of expectation, desperately grasping for the perfect phrase that would somehow encapsulate the chaos swirling in my mind. Ah, the irony of needing to speak when silence felt so much more profound. It's simply, oh, what a twist of fate. The universe has conspired once again, leaving us to ponder the absurdity of it all. What could possibly have transpired in this grand theater of life? The mind reels, and yet, here we are, left to sift through the remnants of what once was, with a wry smile and a raised eyebrow. Truly, the plot thickens. In that fiery instant, I uttered the words, my gaze darting toward him like a startled rabbit caught in the headlights. But the eternal pause, the dramatic sigh that hangs in the air like a poorly timed punchline. What follows could be a revelation or a farce, a moment of introspection or a comedic twist. The stage is set, and the audience leans in, waiting for the next act in this absurd play we call life. Ah, the eternal question that haunts us all, like a shadow lurking just beyond the flickering light of understanding. What a delightful conundrum. One might even say it's the universe's way of keeping us on our toes. Or perhaps just a cosmic joke that we're all in one except, of course, for those of text. Oh, how I yearn to unleash the tempest of emotions swirling within me, like a dramatic monologue waiting for its spotlight. I was convinced that this night had only one possible script, and I was the unwilling actor trapped in a scene of my own making. Aaron nodded, a gesture so simple yet laden with unspoken words, as he slid his hand through my hair, a fleeting moment that felt both intimate and absurdly theatrical, like a scene from a play where the actors forget their lines but carry on with exaggerated gestures. Is it truly a transgression for us to draw this near? He inquired, as if the very universe had conspired to bring forth this moment of existential curiosity. Aaron's hands gripped my waist, his fingers meandering over my body as if they were on a quest for hidden treasure, leaving a trail of sensations that deepened with each tick of the clock, as if time itself was in on the joke. My breath was a fleeting whisper, a dramatic gasp in the grand theater of life. As he gazed into the depths of my soul, he inhaled dramatically, leaning in as if the weight of the world rested on his shoulders. With a hesitant breath, he started to speak, as if peeling back the layers of a well-guarded secret. Oh, Nora, the dagger of betrayal has pierced my heart once more. Ah, the grand tapestry of life, where one moment you're soaring high and the next you're knee-deep in the muck of despair. What a delightful roller coaster. Truly, who needs a theme park when you can experience the thrill of existential dread right in your own living room? But at this very moment, text, I feel utterly transformed, he declared with a flourish. His voice, dripping with sincerity, caught me off guard like a plot twist in a mediocre soap opera. And in that very moment, it wrapped me in a comforting embrace, as if the universe itself decided to throw me a bone amidst the chaos. With each step he took, I found myself spiraling deeper into the abyss of his gaze, as if I were a ship lost at sea, desperately searching for a lighthouse that might never shine. Oh, how the universe conspires to bring us together! It's as if the very fabric of existence has woven our paths into a delightful tapestry of connection. Who knew that proximity could feel so profound, yet so absurdly simple? It's almost comical, really, how the heart can leap at the thought of someone being just a heartbeat away. Isn't life just a grand stage for such intimate performances? The weight of their significance. They linger in the air like a poorly timed joke at a funeral, begging for attention, yet cloaked in the shadows of introspection. Each one a silent scream, a dramatic pause in the grand performance of life, where humor dances awkwardly with the absurdity of existence. What a delightful mess we find ourselves in, pondering the meaning of it all while chuckling at the cosmic irony. The drama unfolds, and we are but players on this stage, armed with wit and a touch of sarcasm, navigating the labyrinth of our thoughts. The labyrinth of emotions, a swirling tempest of joy, sorrow, and everything in between, all vying for attention like a troupe of overzealous actors on a stage. What a delightful mess we find ourselves in. Prepare yourself for the unexpected. But there you are, Nora, lurking in the shadows of my thoughts, a ghostly presence that refuses to be ignored. I can sense your presence, lurking just beyond the veil of my consciousness, like a ghostly whisper in the night, teasing and tantalizing, yet ever so elusive. The tantalizing proximity of dreams, just a heartbeat away, yet somehow still out of reach. How delightfully cruel. One might even chuckle at the cosmic joke of it all so near, yet so far. A dramatic twist in the tale of life, wouldn't you say? In a whirlwind of feelings, a cacophony of emotions collided within me, yet my heart raced as if it were auditioning for a role in a dramatic thriller. Aaron's words unveiled the delightful absurdity and tangled intricacies of it all, leaving one to ponder the sheer ridiculousness of existence. But there was indeed something lurking in the shadows, a whisper of intrigue that beckoned for attention. In that fleeting instant, the air thickened with an almost palpable intimacy, as if the universe itself conspired to draw us nearer, teasing the boundaries of our shared existence. His approach, curious blend of audacity and bewilderment, as if he were a jester attempting to juggle flaming swords while reciting Shakespeare. One can't help but wonder if he's a visionary or simply lost in the labyrinth of his own mind, where every turn leads to a punchline waiting to be delivered. Truly, it's a spectacle worth observing, if only for the sheer entertainment value of it all. Text. The manner in which he approached me was almost theatrical, as if he were the star of a grand performance, each step laden with unspoken intentions and a hint of absurdity that made the whole scene feel like a dark comedy unfolding before my eyes. The cacophony of my thoughts reverberated through my being, leaving me utterly transformed, as if I had stumbled upon a secret chamber of my own psyche, where the echoes of my inner monologue danced mockingly around me. With a heavy heart, I locked onto his gaze once more and confessed, I was alone, Aaron. The irony of solitude in a crowded world. The sweet symphony of solitude, where the echoes of my own thoughts became my only companions. Truly, I was the lone star in a vast, empty universe, pondering the profound mysteries of existence, or perhaps just wondering what to have for dinner. But at this very moment, the world has taken a delightful turn into the absurd, hasn't it? At long last, I find myself ensnared in this peculiar sensation, brimming with youthful enthusiasm, yet wandering through the labyrinth of uncertainty. Text. I sense a shift in the air, I declared, my voice quaking like a leaf in a tempest. In that fleeting moment, articulating the tempest of emotions swirling within me felt like trying to catch smoke with my bare hands. Yet the emotions Aaron stirred within me were nothing short of a vivid reality, a theatrical performance playing out in the grand theater of my mind. At that precise moment, the door swung wide as if the universe itself had decided to make a grand entrance. A voice emerged, cutting through the silence like a dramatic revelation in a poorly written play. Nora, oh Nora. The very name dances on the tongue like a fleeting thought, a whisper of a story yet to unfold. What secrets do you hold, dear Nora? What tales of triumph or tragedy lie beneath the surface of your existence? One can only wonder as the world spins on, oblivious to the drama that is your life. But fear not, for in this grand theater of absurdity, your role is as vital as the punchline in a well-timed joke. So, tell us, Nora, what's next in this unpredictable script of yours? Thomas, a name that echoes through the corridors of time, like a forgotten melody that refuses to fade away. What tales lie behind that simple syllable? One can only ponder the depths of existence wrapped in such a name. Perhaps a hero, perhaps a fool, or maybe just a guy who forgot to take out the trash. The possibilities are endless, and yet, here we are. left to wonder in the grand theater of life. He strolled in through the door, his eyes bulging like saucers as he beheld our unexpected presence. In that fleeting instant, time itself seemed to hit the pause button, leaving the world in a state of suspended disbelief. Time appeared to freeze, as if the universe itself had decided to take a dramatic pause, leaving us suspended in a moment that felt both eternal and absurdly fleeting. Aaron and I found ourselves locked in a gaze, a moment suspended in time, paralyzed by the weight of uncertainty, as if the universe itself was holding its breath, waiting for us to make a move, any move. What a delightful mess we had gotten ourselves into. Thomas found himself in a labyrinth of confusion, desperately attempting to unravel the tangled web of our relationship. His face was a canvas of shock and anger, a masterpiece of emotions clashing in a dramatic display. His eyes widened like saucers, and for a fleeting moment, he became a statue suspended in time, breath held hostage by the absurdity of the moment. And that, dear reader, was the moment when chaos decided to throw a grand party, and everyone was invited, whether they wanted to be or not. "What in the world is happening here?" he declared, his voice a tempest of rough edges and simmering fury. In a heartbeat, chaos erupted, leaving reason gasping for breath. Thomas's voice erupted like a thunderstorm, brimming with fury that could rattle the very foundations of the earth. It was as if the very walls of the house were quaking in a dramatic dance, trembling under the weight of some unseen force, begging for a moment of peace amidst the chaos. His eyes were a tempest of fury and disillusionment, a storm brewing beneath the surface, just waiting for the right moment to unleash its chaos. "What in the world is happening here?" he inquired, a mix of bewilderment and curiosity dancing in his eyes. Yet, in a twist of fate, it became less about the inquiry and more about the tempest of rage and resentment that painted his features in vivid strokes. With a flourish that could rival a Shakespearean tragedy, he turned to Aaron, his hands trembling as he dramatically pointed, as if accusing him of some grand misdeed. "Oh, please do us all a favor and make your grand exit already." "You don't belong in this house anymore," he declared, his voice quivering as if it were a fragile glass teetering on the edge of a table, ready to shatter at the slightest touch. Ah, the woman who has willingly chosen to share her life with me, for better or worse, in sickness and in health, and all the delightful chaos in between. Ah, yes, the woman who brought you into this world. The one who has the uncanny ability to simultaneously inspire both love and exasperation. Truly a marvel of nature, isn't she? Oh, the tangled web we weave. How could you possibly think it wise to pull her into this delightful mess? Truly a masterstroke of chaos. What on earth were you thinking, my dear friend? Care to enlighten us all with your brilliant reasoning? Oh, how could you both so effortlessly cast me aside as if I were merely a fleeting thought, a whisper in the wind? Truly, it's a talent to overlook someone with such finesse. Words eluded me, slipping through my fingers like sand, leaving behind only the echo of silence. There I stood, utterly flabbergasted, as if the universe had just pulled a fast one on me. My mind raced, grappling with the absurdity of it all. My eyes brimmed with unshed tears, a silent rebellion against the urge to weep. In that fleeting instant, Thomas cast his blame upon me, as if I were the sole architect of this unfolding disaster, turning the world into a stage where I was the unwitting villain of the piece. What on earth was I meant to utter? Could I possibly muster a reply to his volcanic fury? Ah, the eternal question. Why Nora? A name that dances on the tongue, yet leaves us pondering the depths of its significance. What cosmic alignment led to this inquiry? Is it a quest for understanding or merely a whimsical musing? The mind reels with possibilities, each more absurd than the last. Why indeed, dear reader, why? What on earth possessed you to embark on this bewildering journey? Thomas pressed on, as if the universe itself had conspired to keep him moving, each step a defiant act against the absurdity of it all. What on earth did I ever do to deserve this? Did I accidentally step on a butterfly in a past life or something? Seriously, enlighten me. How on earth can one possibly come to terms with the loss of both a husband and a son? It's as if the universe decided to play a cruel joke, leaving behind a punchline that's anything but funny. Ah, behold, a simple gesture, yet it carries the weight of 1,000 unspoken words. How delightfully ambiguous! One might ponder the depths of its meaning, or perhaps chuckle at the sheer absurdity of it all. Truly, the elegance of simplicity is a marvel to behold. With a gaze that could melt steel, you spun a tale so grand it could only be described as a masterclass in deception. And there you have it, the grand finale, the curtain drop, the last word in this riveting saga. Truly, what more could possibly be said? The end, or perhaps just the beginning of a new chapter in the annals of, well, whatever this was. I was a shattered puzzle, pieces scattered within, yet my lips remained sealed as if the universe had conspired to keep my silence intact. My eyes brimmed with tears, a veritable waterfall of emotion cascading down my cheeks, as if my soul had decided to throw a dramatic tantrum, demanding attention in the most theatrical way possible. Yet, in the depths of my sorrow, words eluded me like a shy child hiding behind a curtain, refusing to come out and play. Ah, the eternal truth! Change, that elusive creature, danced just out of reach, leaving us to ponder the absurdity of our stagnant existence. Ah, the sweet taste of foresight! How utterly predictable! Like a plot twist in a poorly written novel. I was, of course, aware of that little nugget of wisdom all along. Then Thomas bellowed, "Oh, for heaven's sake, make yourselves scarce! This house has no room for the likes of you two any longer," as he theatrically shoved us toward the exit. Aaron and I found ourselves in a moment of intense connection, our gazes colliding like two ships in a stormy sea, each wondering who would blink first in this silent duel of souls. Silence enveloped us like a thick fog, each of us trapped in our own labyrinth of confusion. Yet somehow we shared an unspoken understanding of the delightful mess that was our inner turmoil. After a moment of contemplation, Aaron, with an air of serene authority, declared, "Let us proceed." I nodded, a silent agreement echoing in the cavern of my thoughts, as if the universe itself was waiting for my approval before it dared to proceed. Shall we make our grand escape from this place? The allure of freedom beckons us like a siren's call, promising adventure and perhaps a dash of chaos along the way. As we ventured into the great unknown, the tears flowed like a never-ending river, as if the sky itself had decided to join in on our melodrama. The weight of my guilt loomed so large that even the most heartfelt sobs seemed utterly inadequate, like trying to fill the ocean with a thimble. My head was a dizzy carousel, whirling with thoughts that danced like clowns at a circus, each one more absurd than the last. In a world swirling with uncertainty, I found myself adrift, a ship without a compass, pondering the great existential question, what on earth was I supposed to do next? The options were as vast as the ocean, yet I remained anchored in a sea of indecision. In the blink of an eye, the world spun wildly, leaving me gasping for breath as I tried to grasp the fleeting moments that had slipped through my fingers like grains of sand. In a moment of reckless abandon, I had leaped into the chaos, and now here I was, floundering in the delightful disaster that was my life. Being with Aaron, the weight of my past transgressions gnawed at my insides like a relentless, overzealous raccoon rummaging through a trash can. It was a comedy of errors, really, as I pondered the extent of my own emotional sabotage. Who knew guilt could be such a voracious beast? What on earth possessed me to embark on this ludicrous journey? I murmured to my own reflection, hands shielding my face as tears cascaded down, a silent drama unfolding in the theater of my mind. What on earth did I utter to Thomas? In what twisted turn of fate did I become the villain in my own story, the betrayer of trust, the architect of my own downfall? With each step, the weight of regret sank further into the abyss of my soul, as if I were wading through a swamp of my own making, wondering if I should have brought a flotation device or at least a better sense of direction. Ah, the grand illusion of time as a healer. Here I was, standing at the crossroads of confusion, convinced that my swirling emotions would simply evaporate like morning mist. Little did I know, they were more like stubborn house guests, uninvited and utterly unwilling to leave. Aaron pulled away, and in that fleeting moment of his departure, a tiny spark of hope flickered within me as if the universe was playing a cruel joke on my heart. By all means, proceed. Just go ahead and do it. Everything's about to change for me now, I declared as I stood there, a silent witness to his retreating figure. I bravely ventured another step into the unknown, as if the universe itself was holding its breath in anticipation. In the grand theater of life, it seems that solitude, cloaked in its own shadowy garb, would eventually unveil a flicker of light, as if the universe had a sense of humor about my plight. In that fleeting moment, I inhaled deeply, unearthing a reservoir of strength I never knew I possessed. Who knew such power could be hidden beneath the layers of everyday life, waiting for the right cue to emerge? Ah, the irony of self-discovery, like finding a forgotten snack in the back of the pantry, only to realize it's the last thing you needed all along. I shall navigate this tempest, for what choice do I have but to endure? Ah, the irony of resilience. Who knew that survival could be such a theatrical affair? But here I stand, ready to face the absurdity of it all. In some inexplicable twist of fate, I would stumble upon myself once more, as if I were a lost sock in the laundry of existence. Ah, the grand cycle of existence, where everything is destined to reset, as if the universe itself has a penchant for dramatic reruns. A fresh beginning, or perhaps just a cruel joke played by fate, reminding us that no matter how many times we try to escape our past, it always finds a way to waltz back into our lives, uninvited yet oddly familiar. If you've journeyed to this point, it's clear that the tale has ensnared your very soul. Oh, the tales I could tell! A veritable treasure trove of stories awaits, and trust me, you absolutely do not want to be the one left out of this grand spectacle. Oh, and do remember to grace that follow button with your presence. It's a small gesture, but one that could change the course of our digital destinies. Who knows? It might just be the highlight of your day. Activate those notifications and drop a comment on this tale of intrigue. Oh, the suspense is palpable. I'm absolutely dying to know what you think, so do share your musings in the comments below. Let's unravel this delightful mystery together.